And I'm, of course, back, baby. Back and acting better than Nev. Ready to explain everything in the world all at once. So, Nick Fuentes back in Act 2. And so, Charlie Kirk, before he died, wrote a letter to Israel. And it was about how Israel was losing support with everybody. And how, like, even people in the inner circles of conservative circles were kind of turning on Israel because the way they were treating the people in Gaza. And they were losing the battle, the PR battle, with everything, how things were going. And, like, basically all the YouTubers are, like, turning on them. And Charlie Kirk was writing a letter to them explaining to them how they could, like, turn that around and have have everybody see Israel in a better light. Because he said he was tired of defending Israel and stuff like that because it was getting harder and harder to defend them. So I want to see Nick Fuentes' take on it. And he probably knows even more in depth on exactly what happened because I read part of the letter once, but the letter is really long because he wrote it to Presidente Netanyahu guy, the leader of Israel, and who does look like the sketchiest villain of all time. That guy is more sketchy also. But I do not trust him in a dark alleyway or even in the brightest alleyway. So let's see what he has to say.
In May, Charlie Kirk writes this letter to Netanyahu, and it's very obsequious and it's very pro-Israel. But if you read between the flowery language, the preambulatory sort of stuff, it's very interesting what he writes to Netanyahu. He says specifically, you should not subcontract your shilling to me. He said, and you can kind of almost read in it, there is a veiled message. He's saying, look, I'm supporting Israel.
He's saying Israel is losing the PR battle though, and it's getting harder and harder for him to support it, and then he doesn't want to have to like always be defending Israel like that.
Supporting Israel. He said, I'm being left out to dry having to answer these tough questions. He said, look, I know you guys are doing the right thing, but you're not helping me prove it. You're not carrying your own water here. I'm having to defend the indefensible. Where are the resources? What's your explanation for this stuff? Why aren't you making the case as or more forcefully than I'm expected to?
Yeah.
And there's a line in there, he says, I feel like I defend Israel more than Israel.
Yeah.
And he says, I would be happy to play a supplemental role. He said, but we need more natively pro-Israel content. We need Israeli content creators and news networks to push this stuff. He said, and I'll help you, but I can't be the primary guy anymore.
He shouldn't have to be.
Very interesting message. He's basically telling Netanyahu, like, look, the shilling is becoming a...
The thing is, I don't think we should help any of these garbage countries. Like, especially like Britain and France. These people, like Britain, they don't respect the freedom of speech at all anymore. Even though that right came from Britain in the first place, like that idea came from Britain in the first place, and now they don't respect that at all. They're throwing people in jail for saying that men can't be women, and just the literally for anything that's even offends anyone in the slightest bit, because they're all literally the most pansiano snowflakes of all time, who just weep to their grannies and cry in their little diapers and just have no semblance of a reality. And all these countries are just garbage. So I don't even think we should support any of them. America first, fuck every other country.
And this is reflective of the underlying political reality. It's like I said last week. Unlike Netanyahu and unlike some of these pro-Israel people, the donors, the billionaires, Charlie actually has to go and face the music. As your campus organizer, he has to go to the battlefield. He has to go to the college campus where the young people hate Israel.
He has to do Big Damn.
And he has to go and not only just show up and take pictures, but he's got to take questions. Now, Charlie is pro-Trump. He's a Republican apparatchik. He wants to go to these events and talk about the Trump-Vance agenda.
But he always has to talk about Israel.
He wants to talk about the economy, terrorism.
But he can't.
And it's becoming a distraction and a liability that everywhere he goes, he is dogged by these incessant incessant, tough questions about Israel.
And this is so true. Like you can even find this online still. If you go to his debates from Charlie Kirk, almost every university he went through, he got like so many questions about Israel. Why is he still defending Israel? And I can understand that Charlie Kirk was getting so tired of this that he felt like he was the only one defending Israel at the cost of all these Israeli donors. They didn't show up. It was Charlie Kirk who had to show up the whole time. He had to defend all those, or he had to reply to all those questions. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk like showed himself as America first, as a conservative American, and he is, but he was almost more busy with like defending Israel at this point than busy with his own country.
Yeah, they need to defend themselves.
So, I mean,
Stop expecting America to do everything for you.
Sounds like very true for me that Charlie Kirk was changing his like vision about like, yo, why am I the only one defending Israel anymore? Like, it's not even my country, and I am the only one who is defending this country. Like, he had many donors who were giving him a lot of money. Turning Point got almost $300 million US. You can ask yourself.
But also, another thing, right before he died, Charlie was looking into a bunch of money that went missing in Turning Point, and he was cleaning up the books, and that's when he mysteriously died. There's something going on there too with that.
But it's not that he should do this on his own. So I think this is a very good point Nick makes here, and let's see what he has to say more. But keep in mind that Charlie Kirk was getting so tired and sick of like that he was the only one who had to defend Israel almost on his own. That's kind of weird, right? If you want to be like, or if you show yourself as an America first and you're busy with Israel the whole time.
He said this. He said, everywhere I go, half the questions I get are about Israel, and they're all negative, and I'm happy to do it, but like, I don't want to do it. That was the message of the letter. Was, you guys are losing the PR war, and it's dragging me down. I got to go and face these kids that hate Israel. And why do you think they hate Israel? It's because you're not explaining yourselves. You're not fighting the battle. I have to clean up the mess, and you can't subcontract that to me anymore. I'm holding all the weight, and you're not. You got to pick up the slack. That was sort of the message.
Just like America did with all I don't understand. It's like there's irk sauce on my hands right now. Every time I don't understand where this is coming from, but I have somehow like Vaseline appeared on my hand somehow. God damn. I was apparently touching the mini mice when no one was looking.
Then he hits up Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman's a pro-Israel Jewish donor, and they set up this event in the Hamptons. And the premise of the event is they're inviting these Turning Point influencers to the retreat to train them up so that they can then go on the campuses and defend Israel, among other things. And Josh Hammer is there, and Seth Dillon is there, and all the major, Xavier DeRusso, these people that are literally on the payroll, they're all there. And I think once again, maybe this was in the service.
I need to get out of the payroll.
Offloading the responsibility to defend Israel to these other people. In July, backing up a little bit. So
I'm an unbribable hero, though. They cannot be bribed.
In July,
I'm uncorruptible.
Charlie has Tucker Carlson speak at SAS and hosts a debate between Dave Smith and Josh Hammer about Israel. And once again, I think that Charlie Kirk is looking at the situation where you still have a Republican Party that's very pro-Israel, but you also have this very influential element that is very critical. Guys like Tucker, who is unignorable. He's the biggest influencer, the biggest host, has the biggest show, and he's pushing, with many high-profile guests, this very critical line about Israel. And I think that Charlie at Turning Point at the event, as a Big Tent coalition builder, wanted to show that there could be coexistence. This was sort of paying lip service to the idea that we are going to be a little more tolerant. The Big Tent can fit everybody inside of it. It was an accommodation for people like Tucker or those that...
Well, that's what was so good about Trumpy Baba in this term. He was able to get so many people who normally wouldn't vote Republican.
Like Tucker. And we're still going to have pro-Israel people, but we're also going to open up the tent and we're going to keep Tucker inside of it. And we're going to host this debate and demonstrate that we can still have people maybe from both sides of this issue inside the Republican tent or inside the conservative tent. That was maybe the big action that caused the chafing with the Israel lobby. They hated that Tucker was welcome there. They hated that Dave Smith was there. They hated that Dave Smith won the debate. And then quickly after, Charlie Kirk was doing damage control. He did a focus group with a bunch of the student chapter leaders, and they were venting and airing out, this is what we think about Israel. And I think what Charlie Kirk was doing was kind of showing to the donors and saying, look, this is what I have to work with.
And this is reality. Like I can say it again, you can literally find this online. Like, look at Charlie Kirk's debates. Like, not even from so long ago, from a couple months ago. It was just, he had to defend Israel over and over again. Meanwhile, there were other people who were criticizing Israel the whole time. Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, and Charlie Kirk. Of course, the reason why he did this, because most of his donors were Israeli or Jewish donors. So he got a lot of money from those people. A lot of these donors, they literally, they just used Charlie Kirk as like a doll or something. They told him what to do. And I think, and I agree, and Nick will probably explain you more about this, that Charlie Kirk was getting so sick and tired of the fact that he couldn't have his own opinion anymore. He was literally like a rag doll. He had to do what the donors told him to do. He couldn't have his own opinion anymore. And Charlie Kirk, we all know how.
That's how everything in politics goes, though. That's why, like, to be in politics, that's why it's so corrupt.
He started with his freedom of speech, with his own opinions, with his own debates, everything like that. He was a very conservative guy, but now he was almost trapped in this Israeli trap where he had to defend Israel 24/7. Even true, most of his followers knew exactly what was going on in the Israel-Gaza war. But still, Charlie Kirk had to defend these people. Long story short, Charlie Kirk was sick of lying towards his own followers, his own fans, about the fact what is happening over there. And many people know exactly what is happening there, what was happening over there, still was happening over there. Charlie Kirk also knew this, and he was just tired of like defending and playing happy days. Meanwhile, he knew that there was something off. But he had to, because all of his donors, you can literally find this yourself online if you don't believe me. Look at his biggest donors and it explains a lot.
He has Tucker and Dave Smith. The donors are furious. They're saying, Charlie, what are you thinking? Tucker's an anti-Semite. Dave Smith is an anti-Semite. How dare you let them at Turning Point? This is out of control. They're furious with him. And Charlie hosts this focus group with the kids. And he has the kids speak, and the kids are saying, what do you think of when you think of Israel? Genocide, Epstein, Mossad. And I think what Charlie was doing with the focus group was to take this to the donors and say, look, this is what we have to work with. You may not like what I did, but this is where 50% of my kids are. This is where 50% of my student chapter presidents, my student, whatever you want to call them, my youth activists, this is where they are. This is what they think about Israel. And he's telling them, like, Houston, we have a problem. And we're not going to solve the problem for the Republican coalition, keeping it together, being pro-Israel, by banishing these people. Banishing Tucker and half of our audience. I think that's what Kirk was doing there. Was saying, you can hear it from the horse's mouth, this is what I have to deal with. At the debates, at my Turning Point chapters, at my events, and we have to accommodate these people. That's just where they're at.
And obvious Israel wasn't happy about that.
In August, early August, the first week, he goes to this conference with Bill Ackman, and allegedly they light into him. They're disappointed with his Israel-critical positions. They don't like this dose of reality that he's giving the donors, although he's at this event. And it's within days of this that he goes on Megyn Kelly. And he says on Megyn Kelly, I support Israel. I'm pro-Israel. I'm never not going to be pro-Israel. He said, but being one of the strongest champions that has nothing to prove on that front, Charlie says, now I'm getting called a Jew hater. He's basically saying, how dare you? He said, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
I'm carrying water for you. I've done it for years. I've proven my bona fides on supporting Israel. And now, not only will you not work with me, but you're accusing me of being an anti-Semite. He says to her, there's this moment where he says, boy, he goes, you're not going to lose me, but you've really deflated me. frustration, saying, look, I'm being
He's-
put in a rock between a rock and a hard
He's
place.
not as motivated to defend
I've
them,
got to defend your indefensible
which is
stuff.
good.
I also have to walk this tightrope and accommodate half these kids that hate Israel. He says, I'm doing my best. I am American, by the way. I don't actually work for you,
Yeah.
even though you give me money. And you're going to call me an anti-Semite and pull your funds? He's saying, wow, how am I supposed to accommodate you any longer?
So first, they give you a lot of money. They want you to say and act like in their favor. They want you to do like they want you to do what the donors want, or the donors give you a lot of money. So Charlie Kirk is doing what the donors want, and we all know, like I said, who the donors are. You can even find this yourself online if you don't believe me. So he has to have like a very pro-Israel opinion. And when shit hits the fan, when it's getting like too much, too intense, then they just take their hands off Charlie. Then it's like, oh, all right, dude, you don't want to listen to us anymore. You don't want to spread propaganda anymore. All right, fine. Then we take the money, and you're all by yourself. You're alone now. And then Charlie Kirk is like in between like both sides. So first he was like defending Israel, and at some point he's not getting money anymore. Like the donors leave him like behind, and then he's also not like so he's not on the Israel side anymore, and he's also not on the not Israel side anymore. Excuse me if you understand what I mean, but you probably get the point. So then you feel kind of trapped, right? Literally, because you were trying to defend one place, and they tell you after like you did so much work for them, you did like almost everything for them, even shame your own name because you were defending them for so long. And then when shit hits the fan, they tell you, all right, dude, it's fine, we don't work with you anymore. You can figure it out by yourself. That shows you a little bit how some of these people work. Like that's kind of like a knife in the back, as how we would call it.
There's so many bad people.
Disgusting behavior, right? Insane.
And then a month later, this is early September, this is where we get this text where he says, they're pulling the money. They are leaving me with no choice. And I think when you put this whole story together, you actually don't see a person who is having a change of heart. Maybe on some level, and Andrew Colvett reacted to the text messages. He's the spokesperson for Turning Point. He said, look, Charlie was against Islam. He was against Hamas and the Palestinians in some sense. He said he supports Israel because Israel is the custodian of the holy sites, the Christian holy sites. He said, and he believed that Israel was part of Western civilization and was in this like Judeo-Christian thing. And I believe that Charlie believed in all that until he died. That's what Colvett said, and I believe Charlie believed that also. He also reaffirmed that on the Megyn Kelly interview. Colvett said, but his criticisms were that the war in Gaza should end. He disagreed with the conduct of Israel in the war in Gaza. The attacks on the churches, some of the aggressive attacks on the Palestinians.
Yeah, and then there are some like bombings where they killed like aid workers or whatever, and then they give like no explanation for it, which looks really bad. Or like, oh, they accidentally killed them, which is like not possible really. So they clearly killed them on purpose. So yeah, so it gets harder and harder to defend them.
He disagreed that they were dragging us into a war with Iran. He didn't like that. So I don't believe that Charlie Kirk was pushing against Israel because of this, that he turned on Israel. I don't think he turned on Israel. I think, like everybody, he had some qualms about some of the things Israel was doing, but he was willing to work with them. He wanted America to continue supporting Israel, but he was put in this position where there was a whole section of the right wing that broke. Tucker, Candace, the Groypers, whoever, they got way too big to ignore. And as the leader of the Big Ten, he had to keep everybody happy. He had to accommodate everybody. He wanted to accommodate the donors that were pro-Israel. He also wanted to accommodate Tucker and the actual students. And trying to accommodate the students alienated the donors. Charlie tried to keep the tent open and said, look, you're not anti-Semitic for saying Epstein was Messiah. You're not anti-Semitic because you're Israel critical. You can still be a part of Turning Point. He said, you can still
And they didn't like that.
a card-carrying member. I don't want to alienate you. We're going to find a way to mediate your newfound opinions and keep you on side.
What do you mean with mediate your opinions? enough, right? Why do you have to mediate an opinion of someone only for this fact? That's like so weird in my opinion. And correct me if I'm wrong, and feel free to debate me in the comments. But isn't it weird that it's only or always about like one country that you can't have like a real opinion? I mean, you can say whatever you want about Nigeria. You can say whatever you want about like Italy. You can say whatever you want about like Germany.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, you can never. If you say one thing, then you're like ostracized from society. Like, or like you have so many people turn against you, and you can never have your own opinion on certain topics. But I always do. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't think we should care about them at all. I don't give a shit what's happening over there. I don't care about Gaza at all, and I don't care about Israel at all. All I care about is America and Americans. But anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I just have a feeling Israel had something to do with Charlie's murder potentially, or assassination. God, Israel has been involved in so many things that we're learning more and more about Israel being involved in so many things. Oh my God, you never know that. But anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think. And with that, the maestro never gives up.